wasn't for that. Brock Lawley.
And now your host, Brock Lawley.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brock Lawley. I am your host. This is the Atheist Editor Show, the show where pop culture and Christian conservative commentary collide. Thank you for listening. Okay, I want to scratch a little bit of an intellectual curiosity, a little intellectual itch. I grew up in this hyper, really watch what you eat, tear tree bark off the tree, shove it down your yap, and think you're better than everybody else. Upper East Side, these kind of people. Trader Joe's and Whole Foods and free range this and the fad that I grew up with. Of course, there's a dichotomy because the same time that was going on, the country got jumbo blimp fat. So couple those two things for me. Riddle me that, Riddler. But the thing I don't understand is this basic concept, this concept where you cannot be effective with your body, physicality-wise. You can't be a thoroughbred machine if you're 450 pounds. If they're removing walls from your house and craning you out of your house because you're so fat to get you to the doctor. Or, you got to hire some Venezuelan nanny to wash your dirty parts because you can't do the limbo, low kind of gymnastic that it requires in the shower to scrub your stinky holes. You can't walk up the 3 steps to get into your house. You're sucking wind to go get more sugar water to throw down your gullet before you send your butt back to the couch. This is just not effective, right? We all understand this concept, even if we're not applying it to our lives. But all of a sudden in the political realm, all this common sense, this knowledge, it goes right out the window. No, we want our government to be big old booty, cellulite, Maury Povich pulling each other's bras off on stage, fat. We want our government to be that kind of fat that you see on those calendars, Spencer's at the mall. I mean, the government can't get too fat for us. The bigger the better is the way we look at it. Of course, makes no common sense, right? Here's the irony. As the government grows to Jabba the Hutt, blimp-like levels, it can't even do the things that we all want it to do. For example, we all want justice, we all want infrastructure, we all want rule of law, we all want defense, we want these things. By the way, the Constitution justifies government for these things. Well, it can't even do these things. It can't even do the practical things that it needs to do because it's so bureaucratic and fat. It's so ridiculously big and bloated. And I know this is all anecdotal, but if you want actual hard evidence for this, if you want history for this, read the USSR's history. Read the Soviet Union. That country was a bureaucratic mess. Not only did it lose the Cold War for that reason, there's a lot of reasons that it did, but it lost the Cold War because it just simply, the right hand didn't know what the left foot was doing. There was just no way something that big, something that statist could function in a practical way. The administrator of cheese, the administrator of fish, the administrator of beef, the administrator of coal, the administrator of concrete. There's all this gauntlet-like bureaucracy that the whole thing just crumbled under the weight of it. And here's the thing, that's exactly what we're doing. We're nose-diving into this abysmal future for some reason. The whole time I'm saying that, I'm on sound footing by way of my thinking with this in some capacity, because I know. This is one of the few things I think Ronald Reagan got wrong, by the way, and that the man was a genius. But I think, he was wrong about the fact that human beings just instinctively want freedom. I'm not sure they do. I think what they want is laziness, ease. That's what I think most people want, security. I think they want somebody else paying the bill, somebody else paying the tab. That's essentially what I think they want. If they can wield and leverage the government to take the spoils of someone else's labor and somehow deliver it to them, that's what they want. And thus the government's growing because they think that's the way to do it. And the other reason the government's growing like it is because we send all these parasites, a.k.a. representatives and senators, to Washington, D.C. And they're not just going to sit around playing patty cake. They have to justify their job, so they just crap out legislation and regulation because they have to feel important. They're lording over you. You need them. And that all falls right in our lap. And of course, by the way, you and me are funding that. It just doesn't get paid for out of lollipops and candy rings. Somebody's cowboying up the coin, and that's you and that's me. My whole point is I just don't understand how the country, specifically the left, can so understand that the virtues of a hard body and the virtues of eating right and staying nimble, Jack be quick, unless we're talking about the government stick, and then that can be as big as possible. I just don't understand this. How is this lost? I just don't understand it. It's because so many people don't think. They just feel, and they're propagandized to, and they just think bigger is better with the government, but it simply isn't. What we need is a lean, hard-body government that only does what it's supposed to do. If it's like that, it's going to do a very effective job, but instead it's trying to do everything, and the irony is it can do nothing effectively. Thank you for listening to the Atheist Antidote Show.
Prisgitt det här faced antidoton fasebogand. Twitter.
Brock, lovely. Produkt Ion.
Abrook, Lovely. Produksjon.